Really? Okay. So good morning obeisances and good evening obeisances. And what happened? Not sure what happened. Oh, yes, something. We're all good, except I don't find the live yet on. Yes, I do. Back to basics. Okay, we're all good to go. Dear devotees, let us begin with Vandana because it's good for us. And we heard from Srila Gurudev itself about the importance of Vandana. So that means yesterday we heard in the temple room listening to Srila Gurudev talking. It was always a happy talk. And that came from South Africa, from Prema Sindhu, by the way. Prema Sindhu Prabhu from South Africa sent that link. Maybe Seva Rupa's heard it, I don't know. All right, dear devotees, we've got devotees gathering as we speak. And so let us begin with Vandana. Yes. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sahajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitanscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurataje Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And we already said, but we can say again and again. In fact, we can say thousands of times, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So first of all, welcome to 5 days, or 4 days, depending where you are, into 2025. So well done, you've made it this far. Jai Shri Gurudev. Oh, some terrible picture just came straight into my face. Remove that. Okay, that's better. And Sri Lekha, I did send you a message just now in reply, and so you'll see it, or just before, so you see it. Well, you don't have to see it now, but just to let you know. All right. Oh my goodness, devotees are coming in one by one. All right. So dear devotees, we're 5 days into 2025, and we must still be trying to be conscious about our staying on the path, staying on the right track 24 hours a day. And I have to say, yesterday, in particular, was, as they say in some places, I think, back to back. It was a back-to-back day of seva from the beginning of the day to the end of day and beyond our normal end of day. It was running through into the evening time. And I just looked back on the day and I thought, well, actually, there was not a gap in the day, but we just feel the same as if we were on a regular day. I don't know quite how to express that, but we're always we say, oh, we should fully engage in service. But really, it was one of those days when at every moment, as soon as something ended, or we're trying to end so that we've got something just automatically was coming up. But that is the life that we actually led in Navadip for so long with Gurudev, because Srila Gurudev was always keeping us in active mode, and there was always something to do. And it was generally with the devotees and practical things rather than ethereal or coding or whatever now it seems to be always necessary to do with computers and things. And anyway, yesterday I did look back and thought, okay, this is our Navadip days where it's just natural to be fully engaged. It's just natural. It's not that, oh, great, we're fully engaged and now we're in the spiritual world. But it's just the natural state of devotion. So we're hankering for that. Krishna sometimes gives us that. And when Krishna is kind and does give us a very full and pressure day to get everything done, then we can look back and say, yes, well, I shouldn't be proud of myself. We managed a day, and we're trying to make this kind of life entirely our life. So anyway, just a little reflection on the fourth day of our 2025 into the second quarter of the century. And I have to say, I saw this morning some beautiful photos coming from Chiang Mai, from Mei Rim, Govinda Farm, and saw a gathering there yesterday. And we see today devotees are there with some guests, I believe. So with some guests, maybe we're trying to look and see. And we can ask for a little report from Chiang Mai first today, because it's joyful to see really the active temple room, the active temple there. Leela Moy Prabhu, would you like to share something?
Pranams, obeisances to everyone. Following the line of every day is a festival in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, who those participate.
Jai.
Yeah, we have like 2-3 days, with guests and beautiful programs, really loud programs, everyone singing beautiful songs and really having some amazing discussions. Here we have our friend Nama. She's friend of Paradita's friend. She's super enthusiastic and asking about what is Krishna consciousness, and it's a good reminder for ourselves also. And every time that we say something, we're not saying for her or trying to solve her doubt, but our doubts also, because we are handled with the infinite Lord. The Lord Krishna is infinite, and it's always something new, and we're always trying to remember our masters, always saying good, trying to always exalt our masters, saying the things, how beautiful they are, then how they are so mercifully giving everything that we need, and we need just to practice and practice and practice. Then amazing topics. And basically is that. Yesterday also we have a guest that he came from, he living here in Thailand, but he's from US, and her girlfriend, his girlfriend, she's from Mexico, and both super enthusiastic also. They love the kirtan, and we have amazing topics yesterday. And basically it's this.
An active temple, very good. Hare Krishna and Vrindavaneshwari, we were with you just a short while ago on the Zoom to Brazil, and with a very enthusiastic association throughout Brazil in the different places coming together on Zoom. And that is very commendable. The devotees so regularly now coming on to the Zoom program and very happily contributing and very happily hearing. So this is our life. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. As you all know, the 9 processes of devotional service. Hare Krishna. And yesterday, yes, so Brindavaneshri, would you like to share something from Brazil? And then then we'll continue to.
As a matter of fact, it's the same day for me. I see you today.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, welcome back today.
Yes, but no, I'm digesting the words I heard early today. I don't have nothing specific to share. Sorry.
Okay, it's all good. And I put you on the spot a little bit, so kindly excused. And Brindavaneshri, often she really does have some good insights. Practically engaged in devotional service with her family, practically adjusting the world. And it's not two worlds, the material duties, adjusting that with the duties of spiritual life, material life. They actually become one when we can see properly. All right, so should we first ask to Kumkum Devidasi today if she would like to say a few words, because she's sitting very quietly. And so I think Kumkum Devi, you've always got something in your, and not your inbox, in your distribution box to share with us.
My Dandavat Maharaj, and to all of the devotees. I'm so happy to see everyone here, and even through the airwaves, we get some Sangha, which is so necessary. Actually, this week I was thinking of the Atma Nikshepa. Am I saying that right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, full self-surrender. And that is our necessity if we want to actually be happy in this life. And by the association of the devotees, we come to understand, and trying to follow the practices, like Leela Moy Prabhu is saying, we practice and practice and practice. And that's such a good example of surrender, because by doing that, we come to understand how it's actually the sweetest nectar. And so I found a quote in Loving Search in that chapter called Planets of Faith, that where Gurudev goes on, he expounds on this. And we know that, as it says in Prabhupada Jivanamrita, Atmani Vedanam is known as the condition of having offered oneself to Krishna solely to satisfy him, while being devoid of possessiveness and false egotism. And then in Loving Search, Guru Maharaj is explaining again about our wonderful example of Sukadev Goswami instructing King Parikshit. And when he had 7 days of longevity, Sukadev Goswami told him that is enough to achieve perfection. He said, "You have only 7 days left to live. Do you think it is a short time? It is enough time. What is all important is the proper use of every second. What time we have in our hands is uncertain, but we must try our best to properly use every second. This must not be neglected. We should not think, the future is before me. Anytime I like, I can engage in the profitable affair of spiritual life. Not 1 second should be lost." And then he quotes Longfellow, "Trust no future, however pleasant. Let the dead past bury its dead. Act in the living present, heart within and God o'erhead." One of these times where Srila Guru Maharaj liked to quote a well-known, even Western author. So he likes this quote to help us understand not to waste any time. He says, "The present is at our hand. We don't know about our future. We must try to use the time at hand to its best advantage. And how will our time be best used? In the association of saints and scriptures. Purity is to be measured by the unit of sacrifice, and not sacrifice to any partial interest, but sacrifice to the whole. The absolute whole has been shown to us as the emporium of rasa, akila rasamrita murti, the absolute good, the autocrat, the designer and destiner of everything we see. Our ideal of sacrifice should be so high that we can give up even the corresponding results of sacrifice. Self-abnegation or self-surrender is generally known as Atmanivedanam. However, Atmanikshepa is a stronger word for surrender. It means to throw oneself desperately towards the infinite. One must be desperate in self-sacrifice. So I'm very attracted to this sweet explanation from our gurus to help us get the hang of it. What sweet beauty awaits us.
So how to put it into practice, Kumkumdiri?
Well, I like that Leela Moy Prabhu was talking about practice, practice, practice. And you also were mentioning how the temple there is a busy temple there in Italy, busy all the time. And he was also saying how many people are coming, so it's a very alive situation. We see that in the presentations from Salt Lake City as well, very alive and invigorated. And so our sacrifice must be there, or we won't be able to join in. As Guru Maharaj was mentioning, we should be devoid of the sense of ego. And so in joining with the other Vaishnavas, we want to sacrifice everything that would get in our way. And so in that way, we can identify if something is not going to help us, if it's going to impede our progress, we want to sacrifice that. We want to learn that everything that is coming to us is coming from Krishna. And we worship that just because it's coming from him. And then he will always help us. He will protect us. It will come pretty quickly, so we can be assured.
Jai. And well, we have some example of this with us. In fact, probably we've got many examples of this right here on Zoom with us. Now, one of them is Nadia Priya Devinasi, who just joined on the Zoom. And she has got a secure place. She's from Ukraine. She's got a secure place as a refugee with good accommodation, good job, everything, security in Germany. But she's made the resolve and already made arrangements. So she's going to return back to the Ukraine and go to Govinda land, sorry, the castle or mansion which is there. She's going to go back there because, she said, because I need savor and I know that they've got so many things there, they need devotees. I'm going to go back there. There I'll be busy in savor. So we have Nadia Priya with us, maybe. She may still be traveling. She was on the overnight bus going from here to Munich back to her engagement and shelter. And where is she? Here she is. She's got her camera on. Nadia Priya, would you like to say something? Or you are on the bus still? Are you able to speak?
I'm in a bus.
Okay, that you're able to speak. Good, you're in the bus. Okay, Didi, you have a safe journey. If you'd like to contribute something, and you can, by speaking, please do so.
I just want to tell that it was the amazing days, and for me,
So if you turn off your video, we probably understand you better.
Yeah, we can't really hear you, Nadia Priya. If you turn off your video, perhaps. Actually, she's on a bus, so let it be. We can, yeah, okay. So now try speaking. I'll ask you to unmute. Just try again. Okay, okay. Seems to be that
Now can
we've.
you hear me?
Oh yes, now we can. We can hear somebody. Okay, I think we're going to have to pass the microphone to someone who's not on a moving bus, I think. But at least we got a glimpse there, Nadia Priya, and she's, as I say, heading back to Ukraine, doing exactly that, surrendering, giving. And there's another verse in Prapanajivanamritam, and I don't know the origin from before Prapanajivanamritam, but it's quoted by Guru Maharaj saying that there is two ways in which one takes shelter of the Lord. One is by having no other shelter, and the other is by giving up their present shelter. So in this way, we see some example of giving up present shelter and then going to take the shelter of the devotees, but of the Seva in Govinda land. So an example right there with us. And Seva Rupa, ever active in the chat box, is quoted by Kumkum from The Loving Search of the Lost Servant, Planets of Faith. Trust no future, howe'er pleasant. Let the dead past bury its dead. Acting the living present, heart within and God overhead. And when in the present we have that opportunity to engage in Seva, whatever Seva comes our way, we should try our best to seize the moment, as they say. Yes, Nadia Priya, don't worry, you're on a traveling bus. These things happen. We have experience of traveling. And Priya Nanadiri, I did send you a little message in the chat box, in the direct message part, if you take a look when you get a moment. And where's our Sri Lekha gone? Sri Lekha, yes, we found you dancing on my Zoom screen. And Sri Lekha Devirasi there is also yesterday, early evening, late afternoon, in Salt Lake City, in active Salt Lake City, where devotees also come and go, means visit and pass through. And we're happy to get from different devotees some news from Salt Lake City, and now some insights, devotional, back to basics from Sri Lekha Devidasi, looking after everybody there.
Dandavat Maharaj, very happy to see you. And Sevarupa, nice to see you on the bus. It was really lovely when we were together in Italy, and all the devotees. And listening to Kumkum Didi is so lovely, always. You know, Maharaj, I'm just thinking, especially now, Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, don't keep a feeble fire. Don't make your fire big, so it will be very strong. And I think that that's kind of the theme tonight. You know, that we do require association. And we were talking about this morning, that if you have no appetite, then you just need to be around others who are hungry, and you'll become hungry just by being around them. So some days we feel more enthusiasm than other days. This is normal for a practitioner devotee. But we will always keep the association of other devotees in some way or other. And I think this miracle of online Sangha, this particularly the mercy of Nityananda for always providing the paraphernalia. And we're able to, even if we feel a little bit remote, we can always associate somehow or other, and so quickly. So we don't want to keep a feeble fire. I was thinking about this quite a bit, and especially in our chanting, like we have our japa beads from Sri Gurudev, and we never want to neglect our beads, but to do some seva. And sometimes this feels like a chore, as we know, when someone has jaundice, the sweet things taste bitter, but they're the cure. So we have to really try to give some attention when we're chanting kirtans, different songs from the songbook, to always be aware of what it is, the meaning of it, the meaning of those songs, try to practice what it is that bring those meanings alive in us. And when we're chanting our japa, really, for me, it's I guess constant life changing, but have to give some real attention, not to like get your phone into another room, and sit down and really try to give some attention to the holy name. It will become our favorite part of the day. And give impetus and life and enthusiasm for our further progress and surrender, and just trying to, the Lord loves, and Srila Gurudev, we saw that so much when the devotees are together and really giving enthusiasm to one another and enlivenment to one another, and it becomes the most lovely thing, and it's really, really pleasing to the Lord when the devotees are getting along in a really sweet way and trying to check our own prejudices and our own reasons for not being, maybe not being humble and tolerant and all these things, to look on ourselves, that the Lord has brought some situation that is disturbing me, but he is in charge of that. So I bow down to that and see where that will take me, what the Lord has in mind for me. And he is trying to remove all of the burdens that we're carrying around and trying to arrange everything to bring us closer to himself. So that was just a few thoughts, Maharaj.
Beautiful thoughts. And really, this is our constant daily reminder, because every day is different, and it's different for everybody. It's not that we're all living the same days, and even if we're living in the same place, we're all having our own experience and our own everything of that day. And this is our daily reminder that we need to adjust. By the way, one thing we've been doing here this last week, yes, our week just finishing, and that is we were reading in the mornings the Brahma Samhita. And I know it's a bit of a jump from what you're saying, but reading Brahma Samhita in the group together was also like very much awakening us up to the rarity of devotion, the tiny speck of life that we are, the creation, the material creation, and the goal which is achievable by love of God, there in Brahma Samhita, repeatedly giving this, that only through the love of the hearts of the devotees, then the Lord is captured, not by billions of years of assiduous attempts to push out the mundane world. If we don't put in the positive side, then it's just hopeless to think, oh, the mundane world, we have to leave it aside. And Srila Guru Maharaj, in the book, In the Light of Loving Devotion, he says that where we do agree with the mind is where the common ground with the Mayavadis is that we and they agree that this material world is not our home, it is illusion. And so, but the Mayavadis, they try to push out the material world and find out what's left. And basically, Guru Maharaj is saying, they're going on the path of suicide because they want to push out everything. But there is the positive side. And the positive side is that land of beauty, sweetness, and charm, which can only be understood at all by having devotion to the Supreme Lord, the creator of illusion, no doubt, but illusion means that there must be some reality, the creator of the reality plane too. So we were reading Brahma Samhita this week, and each time that we read Brahma Samhita, we try to remember to read verse 1, because that sets the whole scene, and then to read when we finish, to read verse 56, because that's a reminder of where we're going, because we're not reading the whole Brahma Samhita in one day. And every verse is relevant, as always, but every verse has its part to play in building up that the goal of our life is love of God, and only a very few pure souls know that place, and they know it as Goloka. But that land was being broadly distributed right now by Nitai and Gauranga, by Gauranga Mahaprabhu and through his agents. So again, a big reminder for us all about this opportunity to take to the holy name. And as Sri Lekha said just now, that if we do chant with proper attention and do leave the phone and other distractions in another place, then we'll find it's the best part of the day. And the other parts of the day are also the best part of the day, so don't worry. It's not going to diminish anything else. And as Sachi Devi said here, just a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, I suppose now, but she said something very sweet here, because she said, oh, you are always saying that this book is the best book ever, this chapter is the best book ever, today's reading, the best section ever to read. No, we do always say that because we feel it. And Sachi Devi, very sweetly, she said, and these days of my life here have been my best days ever. So it was like very sweet that she expressed that. But that is the case. With the devotees, we're always happy when we can read the scripture, when we can be together, we're always happy. And by the way, in the chat box, our Nadia Priya, who's got a bit of a difficult connection because she's in the bus, she put there, she said, here is a bad connection, but I'm glad that I can be here. And I said that the best time, now I got something in the way here. Maybe I have to copy it. Why that won't go? Copy. The best time is, and I did read it, there was nothing in the way before, but I'm glad that I'm here. And I said that the best time, it's the time when I can do some seva and be with the devotees. So those times are always the best day ever too. Anyway, we've been reading here Brahma Samhita with the devotees and feeling that these are the best days ever too in such a way. Hare Krishna. Oh, okay. I know that voice coming out of my computer. Ramananda Prabhu.
Sorry, joined a little late.
It's all good. And Seva Devi Rasi shares by Sri Lekha Didi from Sri Libya Sermons God, Volume 1. So this is what Sri Lekha read, is it?
Maharaj, it was Dandavats Maharaj, Dandavats devotees. Yes, it's just referencing from Sri Lekha Didi about
yes,
we must not keep a feeble fire, and then it goes on to give more about that.
Understand, okay, giving us the source. Ramanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jeev Guru Krishna Prashare Pai Bhakti Latavi. Yes. Hare Krishna. Would you like to read this part? Well, from where I just quoted, perhaps. Sevarupa?
Dandavats Maharaj.
From
To my best. Yes.
According to the thread of their karma, this translation of the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Yes. Dandavats. The living beings are wandering throughout many species of life in the universe. Among all such wandering souls, one for whom the fortune of spiritual merit, Sukriti, has arisen by which devotion is facilitated, gains the seed of the creeper of devotion by the grace of Guru and Krishna. That seed is good faith, Shraddha. It is not a light thing. We must know that this seed of Krishna consciousness is the most valuable thing in the whole of creation. Quoted then, everything good or bad belongs to Krishna, and I am his unconditional servitor. Our general thought must be like this, and the details will develop gradually. We need not apprehend any injustice. He is absolute good. So his mercy is absolute. His love is absolute. He is the loving center. We must make ourselves, we must make our heart broad, wide to accept such a seed. Love is the widest thing. Love can accommodate even the enemy. Love is not afraid of any sacrifice. So it can accommodate even the enemy, and he is thereby conquered. Such conquering is complete and perfect. Our conquest is not perfect, but love's conquest is perfect. So we must be prepared to pay the value of this greatest achievement. Die to love. What can I give? Everything belongs to him, and I also belong to him. I must admit that I am his. This much is necessary. This is the central knowledge, and it is not unreasonable. I am not out of central control, and his all-controlling potency is not power, but love. This is the most liberal proposal, good news and fortune. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, yes indeed. Love, sweetness, beauty and charm. Easy to say, but we must understand it, we must believe it. And we had an expression, and I was just looking for it, which came up in the light of loving devotion. And Srila Guru Maharaj said a few words, and then he said, something like easy to say, but with very deep meaning. I'm still trying to find it, but sometimes, oh, by the way, I was on another Zoom, and I did find something quite efficiently and put it in the chat box, and one of the devotees said, I don't know how you find things so well. I said, I learned from Seva-Rupa. And everybody agreed. Oh, yeah. Okay, I found this quote I learned from Seva-Rupa, and this is very short, and I'll put it in the chat box. It's very short. This is where Srila Guru Maharaj says, this is a very small sound, but infinite meaning is within it. So what is a very small sound? I put it in the chat box so that you can also see. This is a quote from Srila Guru Maharaj. He, so we're talking about Krishna here, as you know, is the reality, and reality is by itself and for itself. This is a simple statement, a very small sound, but infinite meaning is within it. Hare Krishna.
Mars, it's a wonderful thing that sometimes we're thinking this is spiritual world and this material world. They're two different like geographical places, but Krishna is just reality. And anything outside, any conception outside of Krishna, this is simply illusion. That's all. Whenever we can see the center, and I love that. Sorry, Maharaj, I just jumped in there. But
No,
it's something that really is so astonishing sometimes to think of, that understanding that Krishna is in the center, and as Sevarupa just quoted, I am also within the center control. I'm also within the central control. This is like, wow, I am also within that. That the Lord is, you know, I'm part of that control of his divine will. And that is reality. It's not somewhere else. It's just what's true. And so by chanting in our association and our trying to do some seva, some sacrifice, that is simply clearing the clouds and the cobwebs away from our understanding and our vision of the Lord. He's there. We just went into the shadow world. Anyway, Maharaj, I get excited about this idea very much.
and as Srila Guru Maharaj points out, that if we see somewhere, someplace where is not Krishna, then that is illusion. That's kind of very simple, also a simple statement, but okay. That also we must take from that perspective. If we think, oh, this is separate from Krishna, then that's illusion, because nothing is separate from him. And in Brahma Samhita, by the way, which we just read, so it's fresh. Some of it is fresh in my mind. There also is a description of the 9 material elements. One of them is time. One of them is space. And this is inconceivable to us. How can we live without space? How can we live without time?
Guru Maharaj said that time and space are both mental constructs. That's why the yogis, they can just move like this from anywhere to anywhere. They're not limited by a conception of space. Anyway. Keep jumping in.
No, it's all good. That's why we're here. Hare Krishna. Would anybody else like to jump in? Open invitation.
Could I ask Sevarupa to look up something, Maharaj?
You may ask Sevarupa to look up something, and Priyanana looks like she's ready to press open the mic button.
Please do. But the Srimad Bhagavatam Chatur Shloki, in one of those shlokas, Krishna is saying, anyone who sees any phenomenon as being separate from me, know that to be illusion. It's one of the 4 seed verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry.
Okay, we'll have that within a moment, I'm sure. In the meantime, Priyanana Devirasi, a little contribution from Thailand too.
Dandavas to everyone. Yes, well, my contribution is quite traditional. Now I'm spending some time with my mom, having rest, so to say. And I felt like how good it is to be with the devotees. And I'm looking forward to go back to the temple already and to winter. But then I thought like some question also arose in my mind. Sometimes it seems that now we were talking about like Maya and so on, but sometimes you feel that more like tests, they come to you in the temple. Although on the one hand, it's like favorable environment, it's like greenhouse for the spiritual growth, etc. But on the other hand, I felt like, oh, so easy to live outside, you know, no one tests your ego, or like you do not rub much around the people. And then I thought like, well, but yeah, after some time, of course, you got used to it and you like even miss it a little bit. But then I thought, like, why is it so? I mean, is it that you're not properly adjusted, or it's just necessary for your spiritual growth? Something like this. But anyway, I just wish everyone to stay in association. And it's not just the words, because it's like luxury of associating with the like-minded people, and not just like-minded in terms of hobby or something else, but like spiritually like-minded. It's very like to call each other by the spiritual names. Sometimes devotee call like each other by their mundane names, but then I think like it's such a luxury actually to have first have spiritual name and to call and to be called by it. It's just you do not notice like how many people that have this opportunity. So yes, if you have some thoughts about this, like my inquiry, so to say, that you can share. I guess it's kind of always the same question. Yeah, but happily and just flow of thought.
I'm not sure it is the same question, but it's certainly given in a new light. But interesting, the first time I heard the example of the temple being the greenhouse of devotional life. It's a nice example.
Oh
In the
yes, it's
greenhouse.
yeah, I heard it from Srila Goswami Maharaj, and I don't know, was it Srila Sridhar Maharaj's concept or just, but like I've heard one talk and someone asked like the conception is when you get initiated, then it's good to stay at least for some time, like for the first time in the good environment to learn, as you also said, how it is, how you, even then you go out, like how should your life be built, like the program and so on. And then, like someone asks Maharaj, like, but how long should you stay in the temple? Like he said, a month, a year, 12 years, a yuga. It was like quite funny. As, as I understood, like as much as you can. But anyway, it's good to learn like for some period of time how like ideally your life should be, and to have some. He also said like when you grow some roots, when the plant grows some roots, then it gets out of the greenhouse and it can like thrive in the outer environment. But yeah, like this.
I missed that talk, so I'm happy to hear it from you. But we're on dangerous ground to comment on your question. Why is it so difficult that our ego gets many challenges within the temple, but outside not so many challenges? So I can just say, be careful about Maya, that life is more beautiful outside, and maybe everyone is treated differently by the Lord, and we've all got our hand-carved tutorial. But we're on difficult, tricky ground, dangerous ground to comment about the Vaishnavas too much. But we could ask Kumkum Devidasi. She's got a lifelong experience since a teenager, and so very valuable. And she's just over being a teenager just now. And so she can definitely give us some life experience, tips, or explanation, or cure would be good. A cure for such a situation.
I am very encouraged that somebody would think that I have something to offer, but my gurus definitely do, and their kindness has been so concentrated for a very long time. And like most people, we remember very clearly the moment we started feeling that Sri Guru was coming to tap us on the shoulder and attract us away from the illusory energy. And this point that I've been hearing right now is extremely important, that there's no outside of Krishna consciousness. It's not that this is actually a symptom of a beginner devotee, that I want to go to the temple so that I can remember Krishna. But actually, it's not that he's only there in the temple in the form of the deity, or when we're doing some specific service, like offering an artik. In fact, I remember one very nice lady in Los Angeles temple who was a pujari, and like often happens in Los Angeles, there was an earthquake right in the middle of her dressing the deity. And she said that her first thought was to look around and say, who can help? And fortunately, it then hit her that that I'm actually in the very best place possible, because how can I forget Krishna and his beauty and his grace at any time? So the difficulties and the things, the parts of life which seem very nice and appealing, both can happen when we're in the temple, when we're around devotees, and when we're doing that which is a service given to us, or when we are physically away from the devotees. And perhaps we have some service that we chose because we chose to, what is very typical is to marry and have an outside life and have to support ourselves as well as our family. And so it might not look like service all the time, but it actually always can be, because whoever we interact with, that's such a very complex scenario set up by Krishna according to so many thousands and millions of past lives and all those interactions and whatever karma we have, which is good or bad, or a little bit good or very good or terrible. It's all being arranged for us to somehow or other work all of that out by responding to all of it according to what we're hearing from our gurus, what we are learning from the Vaishnavas, and how we see their hand is in everything. And so it's all this learning opportunity for us that will increase our desire to remember Krishna more and more, even if we can't chant his name very loudly in the moment, like if we're riding on a bus with many other people. That doesn't mean that's not an opportunity for us to surrender more. And Krishna will always be seeing that. He'll be seeing our response to whatever he is sending our way. And will we choose to go deeper into illusion, or will we appreciate that it's an opportunity to get a little bit out of that veil of illusion by his grace, by remembering how his beauty, his charm, everything is actually much more appealing. Did I say anything that might be helpful?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, it's just our neophytes and before neophyte position that, like, you think, oh, they are more Krishna consciousness, or it's easier for me. Yes, of course, you try during like normal life too. You just you think maybe you're not that much successful, but yes, thank you. I appreciate it. What should I say?
Even if not in the moment we're remembering Krishna, whether we're in the temple or not in the temple, as soon as possible, like that evening or the next day or many days later, we can reflect and just think deeply, how is this Krishna helping me? How is this situation actually of great help to me? Because it's coming from him. We are followers of the most merciful, the very most merciful, not a conception of a punisher or someone who is trying to restrict us and point out our faults nonstop. Who we are worshiping is the most merciful, and they are sending so many agents to explain all of this to us all of the time, every circumstance we find ourselves in. I thought of an analogy one time when there was a small child at the temple and only about 3 years old, and we were on a city street, and I suddenly saw the child start to run toward the street where there was traffic, and it was terrifying. And without even thinking, I just grabbed her hand and maybe her elbow too, and it was, oh, she was crying, oh, she was mad. And then I thought, sometime later, when she's more mature and she can understand, she'll hear about this, and she might not like what I did whatsoever right now. But one day she will understand why I had to do that, what she perceived as terrible and painful and undesirable. And so I believe it's Krishna's kindness is always to help us. It's never that he, is giving us some difficulty just for no good reason. Everything is planned in detail for our benefit.
Yes, and sometimes. Oh yes.
Oh yes,
Maharaj.
no, please carry on. Priyanand, please carry on it.
Okay, but you please remember what you wanted to say.
Yes.
I just said that, like, as Maharaj second prohibited word coincidence, just recently we had like type talk with Sulakshana Didi, and like I started my day with some lecture, and then during the day she sent me another like quote, and it was actually the same like part from another lecture, but it's like the same informational space. And I thought like, oh, again we come back to this, coincidence or like miracles, like you are in different places but you discuss the same things. And for me it's just another proof of how everything is conscious, and like if you cannot like directly understand that Krishna is everywhere and in everything, at least this shows you that something that you are in is conscious, the space is conscious, like common threads between us. We've heard that it happens very frequently. Yes, please, Maharaj.
Yes, valuable comments indeed. So, no, I was simply going to say on this subject of this, like in the temple, can be more challenging to our ego than what, which is dangerous ground. Okay, we'll start from there. And that is, I would like to say that there are exceptions to, well, the rule, if you're going to say it's a rule. There are exceptions to the rule, and the outstanding exception is Chaitanya Saraswati Mat of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj in their time. And I don't know if we were just living in a bubble, but we were in some sense. We were living in a greenhouse. Now we can think, okay, we were living in a nice warm greenhouse where really the harmonizing spirit of Gurudev, and of course everyone had different natures. Everyone always has different natures, but somehow or another, being in the temple and serving in the temple, it was an equalizer. We're all equal as the students of the master. We're all equal. We're not all know-it-alls or anything else. We are equal. And whether someone was a millionaire or in debt by $1 million, which there are devotees in both categories, or whether one was smart or not smart, whatever you like to say, everyone was equal. And the different natures, different personalities, they were equal in the sense we've all come for Gurudev. And we like that every temple would be a beautiful reflection of that Gurudev gave us. But the reality also comes down to that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave us those directives, my advice, and one of them is the first duty of a resident of the ashram is to be tolerant. You know this, most of you know this. And when The first time I read that, and we read those first words, or the first duty of the resident of the mat, I was thinking it was going to be to chant the holy name constantly, or something like this, but to be tolerant. So it is not something new. It is sure to be a challenge. But a challenge in the hand of the Vaishnavas, and a challenge for us to see Vaishnavata everywhere. And it comes to us, only it must be us who will make a challenge, that will make a change, rather, change to ourselves. Hare Krishna. All right, and beautiful to see everybody's names. And Axel, to have you with us. It seems a little while since you were with us, so happy to see you with us. And from Thailand, we've got our Pavan Krishna Prabhu, and Kamala now in USA, I think, and then Muktinath Prabhu, and the team at Govinda Farm, and more devotees in Salt Lake City, Jayadev Prabhu there also. And Nirupama, she's in Ukraine, she is with us. And Madhava Prabhu, Michael Madhava in USA, and others who we can't see, but we know are with us. So let us continue our days. And Amarinda, good to see you there. Your evening, we were speaking in your morning today. Now it's your evening already. We already had a good night's rest, and well, maybe short, but a good night's rest in the meantime. And now we're with you all. And there are a couple of things in the chat box I see. Let me have a quick look. Oh, Sevarupa found the verse. Okay, I did take a look and see. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Sri Lekha is asking, how do you do such quick searches? All right, we'll leave that between the two of you to understand. And I'm still a student of the quick searches, so if you get some tips, Sri Lekha, do share them.
I will.
All right, okay. Sevarupa, she's give you an answer. By the grace of Gurudev and the Vaishnavas. There we are, Vaishnava answer to the question. All right, dear ones, and to Bhima Krishna Rupa Nuga Prabhu, all those who I've not mentioned today, Gangalila Devidasi, Dana, always with us, we're always happy. One day we're going to see you in a temple, hear that you're with the devotees in a temple, and you will be happy, we will be happy. And anyway, Dana, everyone's good wishes always with you. And to each of you, one by one, here on Zoom, on Facebook, and seeing the recorded version, our appreciation. Rianan also reminded us, we don't say thank you, do we? Our appreciation to have your good company, and we need to be reminded also of our Guru's expressions and words. And at Christmas time, times of giving, then also we are thinking, what do we say if not thank you? All right. And Jayadev Prabhu just joined us, but I hope you know he's connecting. Jayadev Prabhu, you just joined us, but please know we are just at the very end. Maybe you're thinking it's an hour earlier or an hour later, but please excuse, we're just saying our bye-byes rather
No,
than...
Maharaj, I've been here the whole time.
No, I know, there are two Jayadev Prabhus here.
Oh,
Jayadev
my apologies.
Prabhu. Jayadev Prabhu, this is speaking as Jayadev Prabhu of Salt Lake City. And he's our new and happy Jayadev Prabhu. And the other Jayadev Prabhu is Jayadev Prabhu in a camper van, maybe. I'm not sure quite where you're set at the moment, but good to see you. Oh yes, a flashlight to give a little bit of light. But good to have you there too. And don't worry, there are many Krishna dases in the world too. And in Bengal, Many people are called Krishna Das. Just like, anyway, in many countries, we've got many people with the same name, traditional name, many Johns, many Andrews, many this, maybe many that. So anyway, Jayadev Prabhu of the camper van and Jayadev Prabhu of Salt Lake City. To both of you, of course, our obeisances, our welcomes, etc. And special mention to Kumkum Devidasi, to Sri Leka Devidasi. Special mention to each of you, the Govinda Farm residents and visitors. You're all residents. Nobody's a visitor when they're in the temple. When we're in the temple, we're in the temple. Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. And Jai Om Vishnupad, Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. And Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vanga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. The present day Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. And Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. And Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Govinda. Have successful Seva days. We'll see you soon. Yes, Ganga.
Jai Srila Bhaktiranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. We'll see you all soon. Ganga Leela Devi Dasi. She's dancing or singing, maybe she's clapping. Yes. Happily.
Thank you, Maharaj. Dandavas. Jai Gurudev.
Dandavat Ramananda Prabhu. Govinda Govinda. Amra Ashchi. We also don't say goodbye. We say Ashchi. I am coming. I'm going to come. I'm going to come this way.
Wonderful.